Tansei, welcome back to Metis Minute, your source for Metis news in Region 7. Welcome back to Metis Minute. I am your host, Samantha Loney, and today I have a very exciting episode for you today. Simcoe Community Media and Metis Minute were invited to Mohawk territory on the Bay of Quinte to bring you a story about the first ever Rural Ontario Youth Conference. The Rural Ontario Youth Conference was put on by the Rural Ontario Institute in the municipality of Belleville. The youth conference consisted of a trade show, a series of panels, along with workshops for youth to participate in to up their leadership skills. We know that Mohawk territory is a little bit out of the bounds of Region 7, but we still wanted to bring you this content because the Rural Ontario Institute is province-wide, and we know that a lot of citizens in Region 7 live in rural areas. So without further ado, we wanted to bring you some footage of the conference, which opened with a beautiful opening ceremony and performance provided by Bay of Quinte musician David R. Maracle, and some words from the MC and Mayor of Belleville.
Over the next few hours, we will explore ideas, experiences, a lot of fun activities, delicious food, it's free by the way, and share experiences to make connections. I'm a big for the connections. I started with myself in this small little town. Nobody knew me, at least for a week when I started my journey in Belleville. And now if I go, at least they know my name, or maybe they know my familiar face from social media or from the newspaper or from, I don't know, from nowhere. And I feel proud about it. So I really believe that connection matters a lot in small community or in the big community. So at least if you are today, at least make 5 connections. If you are a youth, if you are a parent, at least make 5 connections, a useful connection that will help you to build in future something really strong and meaningful. To the youth here today, you are the reason that we are here, and we have been working on this project from last 8 to 9 months. And this was one of our really important project what we have been working for a long time as an entire committee. And I'm not sure everybody is comfortable to come on stage after my speech to just, I just wanted to thankful to all of them for being really apart from here, but still working really great to complete this ceremony and the summit. As we kick off the summit, let us embrace the challenges ahead within the spirit of unity and collaboration. Let us learn, listen, and inspire one another and make a positive difference into the community. So let's dive into the experience with an open heart and minds, ready to embrace the opportunities that lie ahead. Together we can and we will make a lasting impact. How many of you are with us today? Let's welcome and hear a few words from our beloved, funny, handsome, Neil Ellis, Mayor of City of Belleville.
Sir. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the City of Belleville. And I know some of you are from out of town, some are from the city and the surrounding area. And I said to Hart when I got here, so about 45 years ago, almost to this date, I stood at this podium and give my speech to become student council president. And from then, as I realized as youth, you could influence, not only at your school, you could influence your community. From there, I became the mayor of Belleville. And from there, I became the MP of the riding. And all through that, was things that I learned from conferences like this. And Hart is right. Networking really works. Make some friends today, listen to them, and remember, a bad idea can become a good idea. So don't be afraid to stick up for your ideas, talk to everybody, be on the panels, and have a wide open mind today, and welcome to the city. And if you get any parking tickets, just give me a call and I'll fix them for you. But thank you very much.
Wow, it usually takes like 15 minutes of the entire event, but he just took a few minutes, so that's good. I'll only take a few minutes for sure, promise. Today we have a really special guest, and I'll start with David Miracle. And David, pardon me, I'm going to pronounce your name again, but if I'm doing something wrong, don't just hit me from the back. We are thrilled to announce David R. Miracle, beer claim, Deha Dania Kue Deros, Cutter of Stones, Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte, Gan Denge, Ganyum Gehaga. We are thrilled to announce that Rio sculptor, award-winning musician, composer, and producer David Miracle will be joining us at the Ruler Youth Summit, performing a ceremonial blessing to kick off the day. David's accolades include numerous Canadian Indigenous Music Awards. He has had the fortune of performing his ambient music all over the world: Austria, Holland, Pakistan, the 2000 Olympics in Australia, and before the Queen in Parliament. David recently had the honor to perform virtually from the Empire Theatre for the 50th Juno Awards, for the opening and closing ceremonies for the Indigenous Juno Nominee Awards segment. Due to the ever-changing world of global pandemic, David was forced to pivot his career off the road. He turned his focus to his newest venture. David now manages a successful Indigenous retreat entitled Little Crow Cabin and Ports Courtyard, a 5-star staycation destination nestled along the shores of beautiful Bay of Quinte on the Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. So if you haven't got a chance to check out, they also have a website. And also if you are in town for a weekend, just check out the place, and if they have a local sport, book your stay. Let's welcome David Miracle.
Yeah, I'll go for that introduction and that land acknowledgement. It's a beautiful day. When is our yield? I'm for ducks, right? Water. Old Neganos. It's good to see the rain. We need that rain. We've had a lot of dry spell. My grass is brown and crunchy. It's good to be here, and Sego, Sego Guego, De Hanenia Guederos Yumiats. Walk starting with a bear clan. And it's an honor to be neighbors with you guys and come here and do these types of things. It's nice to teach and educate people on the importance of our walk and what we do in life, and how we honor the animals and how we honor the elders. And the elders teach me. That's how I learn all these things that I do today. As I go and I seek out that knowledge from the wisdom keepers and those that hold that knowledge and are able to give me the strength and the knowledge for myself to go forward. And I've chosen to educate people with my art, and there's a lot of stories and history that I put into my art. And it's just something that will always be around and stay forever. The museums and private and corporate collectors will have these stories to last. So that will keep, our stories alive. And I've chosen these kind of instruments here, the indigenous instruments from around the world. They play over 30 different world instruments. And I chose to bring the ones that are close to my heart today. I forgot my hand drum, which is one of my main instruments, so I'm going to improvise with the box. I was always told to try to make things work when you can. So I found an Elections Canada box. I'm going to use it. Anyway, I was down under in Australia. It was quite a time to be there, opening the City Olympics and learning some of the culture there and how they honor the land and those things that are important to them. I have, they gave me didgeridoos and they told me about the walkabouts. You know, when the indigenous people and the Aborigines take a walkabout, you think they're going to just go and come back. Well, a walkabout can last for up to a couple weeks or 3 weeks, and all of a sudden they show up, hey, how's it going? Where'd you go? You said you'd be right back. They said, we did. But they always go and they're honoring the nature, and they're honoring that path. And before I'm finished today, I want to give you a little teaching with an eagle feather. And but the first song I'm going to play today will be the song called Walking with the Elders. It's really important that I write songs to honor all those things in my life that are very important. I'm now going for the Elections Canada drum. This is the first. I I give thanks to the four winds, the thunders, our eldest brother, the sun, grandmother moon, our young brothers and sisters, the stars, each and every one. But most of all, I give thanks to you, thus the sculpture of us, the one that gave us our breath, for all that you have done. The next song I would love to do for you guys is called The Lifeblood of Mother Earth. Does everybody know what that is? You didn't know. It's called the water. Knows. Without the water, we would not be here. And it's so important to honor these four elements that sustain our life. You know, when I go out and travel around the world, I always know that I have a backup plan. And that's those things that I honor every day in my life. I give thanks to those things. Because without those, none of us would be here. We wouldn't be able to operate as human beings. So I honor the waters, and you know, if anybody knows a doctor named Dr. Emoto, can I just see a hand? No way. So he was a doctor that studied water and found out the molecular structure of water and how important it was to sing to it, to tell it you love it, to tell it you care about it. Our people have known that forever. We do water ceremonies. The women will do water ceremonies. And on my territory in Gundege, the women hold a ceremony, and how important this is to our people. And that, you know, that holds the baby in the mother's womb. Do you know we're 87% water? So Dr. Emoto said when you sing to the water and tell it you love it, it cleans itself. So they did an example. They set water and they started to talk to it and play music around it. And the cloudy water started to clean itself. And this is why we've had women water walkers walking around the Great Lakes. And they have dedicated their time and efforts into praying for the water and singing to the waters. And the women on our territory, the men will come together to honor the woman and the life that they bring. We clean off the ice, we put a hole there, the women will bring their water vessels and gather the water. And they set all their vessels around on the ice at a full moon. And the drums start to go and they start to sing this ancient song that helps to clean the water. And it's so important to people and women that are finding out more about how they can contribute just by being thankful and showing love. It was women from Australia, from Germany, from Switzerland, from China, all over the world. They sync their clocks with our women on the territory. And they all come out at the same time with us. And can you imagine everybody's drum going at the same time to honor the water? So you know when you know that we're 87% water, and when you say I love you, Gundarukwa, I love you. Gundarukwa, a big love. So when you tell somebody you love them, you're cleaning them from the inside out. So this is why when you hear somebody, when they look you in the eye and they say, I love you. I really love you, man. I really love you. All of a sudden they feel something warm and fuzzy and cozy. And they don't know what that is. That's the water inside you moving around and cleaning itself. So when you hear that word, I love you, Gadarunqua, this is why I play this song. To the waters. So I want to just tell you about this drum here. Does everybody know about this drum? Has anybody ever witnessed one of these drums? It's called a hang drum. Can I just see a show of hands? Oh, nice. So this is one of the original drums, and this came from Switzerland. And the way to get one of these drums is you have to write a letter to the people that made this drum. And if you're fortunate enough that you've displayed your heart and soul on paper or on the computer and you fire that off, they read the letter and they find out your heart and the people that want to own these drums and what they want to do with them and how they want to play them and honor different things. This is in a 5 to 8 hertz frequency, which is known to heal the heart. This is why I chose this instrument. In my music, a friend of mine actually told me the whole story. He wrote the letter, he took the journey, and when it came to his studio in Toronto, the first thing I said to him when I laid eyes on it and did one little tap on it, I said, "Oh my God, can I borrow that?" And he's such a good friend of mine. He goes, "Oh my God, David, sure." And he let me take it home. Well, I fell in love with it. And he told me the whole story. So as time goes on, I had the drum at my house, and it doesn't take me long to learn how to play an instrument. Creator's been very good to me, allowing me to learn. I play a lot of instruments by ear. And I just have to spend a little time with it. And I was told by an elder, which happens to be my father, he said that word responsibility, if you break that down, respond to your abilities. We all have that ability to respond to something, whether it be good or bad. Hopefully it's good. So when I had this drum, I was practicing and I could hear all kinds of things coming out of it. And the sad day came where I get a call from the gentleman that gave it to me. And he said, "David, I need to borrow the drum." I said, "What do you mean you need to borrow the drum? It's your drum, you own that drum." He said, "Oh, right. So he picks it up, he takes it home. Within 3 days, I get another call. He says, "David, I should have never taken it away from you." He took it and he had dropped it. And I have the scar here on it. And it went out of tune. He said, "So, I have good news and bad news." And he said, "What do you want first?" I said, "I'm not sure." He said, "I'll give you the bad news. The bad news is the drum's out of tune. The good news is I can send it back to Switzerland and they'll tune it for $800. So the original trip and everything was around $7,500 to get this. So he said, "I want to give you the drum if you want to pay for it, for the tuning." I said, "I'm done." So anyway, this gentleman, it's a great story of our medicine and how things work and how we respond to things. He was playing up in Hamilton at a big concert with a very famous group. He was doing his keyboard solo, and people couldn't get enough of the band and the music, and he fell on the ground after his solo, and he had a heart attack. And they thought the crowd was going crazy. They thought it was part of the show. He just finishes and he falls over, and people are clapping. And then they did see that he wasn't responding. And he was dead for 17 minutes. They actually had to paddle back, or whatever they had to do. They brought him back, and he had a little life left in his body. They took him to Kitchener, to the hospital. They rushed him there to the emergency. They put him on whatever machines they could to keep him alive. I was having a get-together. It was music award time, and I had a lot of celebrities and people at my home. And I said to the girl beside me, I said, "I have to go get some rest." I said, I'm recording for CBC Studio tomorrow morning with Donald Kwan. And she said, you didn't hear the news about Donald Kwan? I said, no. She said, we don't know if he's dead or alive. I said, what are you talking about? And she said, yeah, he's in the hospital. I said, the party's over. I said, I told my wife, Kimberly, I said, I need to fetch all my medicines and what I believe. And I got my drum that I forgot. And I brought that with me, and I packed all the traditional medicines that Creator allows us to have and pray with. And I drove as fast as I could from Tymenega to Kitchener. I get up there to find that nobody's allowed in other than the family. I said, I'm his brother. And they didn't question that. The door opened. Away I went. He's Chinese, so it was fun. So I go into the room, nobody stopped me. And I started setting all my medicines around. You know, I pulled my drum out and I thought if anything's going to bring this guy back, it's going to be the sound of music, because he has studied music. He's a master at music. In fact, most of the instruments I have, he's made his way around the world to open up a museum in Toronto that sells rare instruments. I went up there and I started to pray, and I sang a song, and I chanted to Creator, lamenting for his health to come back. And I'm watching the monitor. It's just almost flatlined, and I can see, as I'm playing the heartbeat into his chest, I can see the life start to come back. And I thought, wow, this is great. You know, and I was tearing up because I'm asking Creator, and I'm getting a prayer answered. So I left. I felt good. I get home, and that's when the drum came to me. That's when he made it all happen. But he wrote on the case, he said, David, take this drum and play it to the world and heal their hearts. And it's in a 5 to 8 hertz frequency. I hope you enjoy. was a woman of tradition. Her body, her soul was on a mission, and her mind's eye will retain a vision of the spirit world. She began to sing, chant, and pray. I watched the animals as they walked her way. I was so careful not to make a sound as she turned this place to sacred ground. Aware of her surroundings, a presence she sensed was there. As she sang, her breath sat like clouds, compressed by the cool, still air. And I could see she was that woman of tradition. Her body and her soul was on a mission. Her mind's eye will retain that vision to spirit world, to spirit world. Yellow, everybody. I hope to be back sometime for a full concert, you guys. Thank you for all coming out. It's been an honor and pleasure to be here. Yellow.
So I speak. My name is Vicky. I'm one of the committee members of the City of Belleville Youth Engagement Committee. So we're here because a lot of young people live in our community, not only in the heart of the City of Belleville, but in the community as a whole. It's not just one small city center that sometimes gets the focus. It's a huge population that exists in the rural area as well. So City of Belleville Youth Engagement Committee works directly with our City of Council. We're in Belleville. There's lots of adults on City Council, which is great. We're dealing with a lot of issues, but sometimes the youth voice, that youth representation doesn't get sorry. So our committee really pushes to make sure that we're the voice for City Council to say, hey, this is what the young people in our community think you to. So back when the committee first began, one of the things that they found was the city residents of the City of Belleville, the youth especially, they wanted to do things, but they didn't really have the transportation to get around. So that was a huge barrier for the job. So that was kind of taken to council, and council kind of heard it. It took a few years because council felt us slide. But this year to where all of the high school families who attend City of Belleville schools now have access to free Belleville transportation. Really happy to be here. One of our youth initiatives is this recreation opportunities for young people. They said in a survey that we did last year, that a lot of them are looking for those after-school opportunities. So I got to learn a little bit more about what those are. We thought that the Youth Summit was a great opportunity for us to come and start to engage with those young people, ask some questions, see what kind of information we can get for them.
I'm Sherry Pierce. I'm the president of the Madoc and District Chamber of Commerce in Madoc, Ontario, and we serve the central and north Hastings of the Hastings County. So we have a large range of where we have our membership, and we help local businesses as well as home-based businesses, retail, manufacturers, any sort of business, help them grow their business. We help them, we advocate for them, okay? We do all kinds of things at our chamber, but one of the biggest things that why we're here today at the Rural Ontario Summit, Youth Summit, is because we have a program called Young Entrepreneurs and Professionals. And this program in our chamber ranges from the ages of 10 to 25. And we have actually quite a few young entrepreneurs that are starting out and building a business. And it's really interesting to watch their development. And I am so happy and proud because this has been an interesting program. It's 4 years old now, and we've watched it grow from 2 to 20 members. And we have a great sponsor, TD Bank, that helps us. And with this program, and one of the best things that we do get to do with the kids or the young entrepreneurs is nurture them, mentor them, and help them grow their business and watch them flourish. And one of our young entrepreneurs is on our board of directors. She's 13 years old, and she brings a wealth of information with her from her age group because she sees things differently than what we do, the older folks that are on the board. So it's a great combination to have, and this is what our chamber is all about, is supporting our youth, because our youth are our future business owners.
I'm Rochelle Baldock, and I work for CDC Quinty, which is just on Station Street. We're a nonprofit. So we do 3 big programs. The first one is the Good Food Box, which is a $5 fruit bag and a $10 veg bag. The second one is the Baby Box, and it's 20 diapers and a pack of wipes for $6.50, as well as community gardens. We have 159 community gardens throughout Belleville and Frankfurt. We just try to help out as many people as we can through our programs. And that's why we're here. We're trying to spread the word about our amazing programs and hopefully get more people to volunteer. So being a youth myself in that demographic, I use the Baby Box myself, and as well as the Good Food Box. I think it's saving money and getting quality items, especially since the rise of prices of produce. So our programs are very versatile, and anyone can purchase it.
As we mentioned, there were various panel discussions that took place at the youth conference. We wanted to bring you some footage from a panelist of youth living in rural Ontario who discussed their journey through entrepreneurship.
Education, I have spent a lot of time in school. It's actually where I love to be because I love to learn. And that's actually why I really like being here today as well, because I'm learning so much already. I have a Bachelor of Science, a Master's of Fitness Science, and a nonprofit management certificate. So I've gone to school and gone to school and then gone back to school. My background, like my education experience, is very sciencey. So again, Master's of Fitness Science is working very much in that science world. And I quickly realized once working in that world, I actually love working with people. So I've very much shifted my focus in my career since then, and I work completely in the nonprofit world now. And I've been working in the nonprofit world for over 10 years. I currently am the program manager at Habitat for Humanity Canada, managing the Global Village program. So Global Village program, I'm a volunteer manager. I send volunteers overseas to go to different countries to build homes for people. That's what I do for most of my day, and then I'm also a professor at Loyalist College here in Belleville. I teach in business. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Cassie.
Good.
And over to Tilak.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. My name is Tilak Kumar. I'm from New Delhi, India. I came to Belleville about, it's almost going to be 3 years now. Came as an international student at Loyalist College. Did my global business management. And now currently I'm working with Bank of Montreal as a personal banker, which I'm extremely proud about. the journey has been nothing short of a roller coaster, that I can say. And my background back in my country, I've been doing hospitality, started serving customers, meeting with people all across the world, and then transitioned into aviation. So I was a cabin crew in charge, flying in my national airline. Got to travel places, meet new people. So I got to know that I have a niche and I love meeting new people and working in this environment. When I came to the Canadian industry and here into Canada, I channeled all my skills and my passion towards finance world, as I've always been interested to work in the finance world, but it never really worked out back then. So I've been working here, growing slowly and helping customers along the way. And I'm also happy to tell you that I'm a full-time entrepreneur as well. I started my own business a few months ago. Starting slow, but getting there, slowly but surely. And I'm a big-time foodie, and that's all about me.
My name is Taylor Russett. I would be titled as a chronic workaholic, maybe, but I have 3 businesses in the local area, and I've owned my own business since I was 17 years of age. The first being Russett Photography, a wedding photography company, and then the Grind and Vine, which is a local coffee and wine bar, and then Lafferty's Menswear in downtown Belleville. My educational background is I have a undergrad in political communications from Carleton University, and then a master's in management and innovation and entrepreneurship. And so if anything I learned from those big, long degrees is how to think about people. And in politics, it's all about the person at the end of the day. In management and innovation, it's about how to gear people into your company. And one of the biggest things I've learned in business ownership is probably putting people first in my company. People first, community-based businesses. So that's kind of my background in the world of my job.
My name is Emily Lenahue. I currently actually work with the United Way, so shout out to the awesome folks as well as at ROI, but also at United Way who put on this event for us today. My background actually similarly to Cassie's. I almost want to say ditto to your bio, so it was fun to listen to all the things you had to say. But I also started in the sciences, so I did 3 different diplomas through Loyalist College here locally. Was lucky enough to graduate as valedictorian in my last instance in 2018 before pursuing my Bachelor of Technology through Memorial University. Interestingly enough, I did most of my education virtually, so if anyone has any questions about how the virtual aspect of education is interwoven into our lives, I am a hugely passionate person when it comes to virtual education and the things it has to offer, but also recognizing that in-person connections are also really important, so it's great that we can come together in activities like today and speak about entrepreneurship and working in the everyday workforce of today. So thanks for putting this panel together, Sandy.
Thanks for being such a dynamic group and making the time on a beautiful Saturday to be here with us today. So, you know, it's interesting. You all have these amazing careers, really and truly, at, I like to think, a fairly young age, you know? And it's exciting to think you've gone through lots of different school, you've gotten all kinds of different professional type of training, academic training and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you all talk about people skills and you talk about, you know, those important soft skills. I'd love for you to share with our audience today, what are the most important soft skills that you find help to guide your journey in terms of your career?
I can start since I have the mic, don't awkwardly ask. I think for me, I mean, the obvious choice in a response here is networking, learning how to not only understand your peers, but actually listen to them and not just look to respond to what they're saying to you in an environment where you are networking. But I think that's sort of kind of maybe the more obvious approach in that the bigger picture is actually capacity building. And I think oftentimes we might neglect to actually really focus and hone in on what does our network look like outside of that event, and how can our network be organized in order to create something new, to create a whole other event on its own, to support an organization that might need our help at any given time, whether it's through a not-for-profit or through a fundraiser at any workplace. So I think networking is huge, but we really need to start looking at what that network actually means for us and what we mean to our network. So how our network can work around us in that capacity building fashion, but then also making sure that we're giving back to that network and creating those synergies, knowing that if I have an event that I need help with, I know Taylor's going to be there, like this panel, but I also recognize that if Taylor's running an event, I need to be there and I need to hold myself accountable. And of course, everyone has different schedules and everyone understands when you can't get certain things or you have to leave or what have you. But it's really important that we create those synergies and we're capacity building in ways that really make sense for us, but make sense for everyone around us, I think.
Yeah, I think, like, great point. I think network plays a huge role in it, but also understanding the need. As an employer, I employ a wide range of people from the start of their working life, from right out of high school, co-op students, to I have people that have tried to retire on me 3 times. So I have brought in a very different workforce as what I am, a 24-year-old. And I've had to understand the need of what somebody wants out of the connection. And so bringing that network back of being, hey, this person's working for me because they want something to do in their off time, and always understanding the need of the person in front of you, I think, is a way to help grow that network. So, like, I'm on United Way's on their campaign chair, and I understand the need in our community to do that work. And so I'm going to share my network with United Way to continue the good work of United Way.
Well, great points, guys. Following up on understanding the need, I would say the soft skill that's extremely important is active listening. So if we are just open and absorbing what the other person is saying and truly understanding where they're coming from and what they're trying to say, really plays out in a long way, because that helps understand the need and then also understand the person as well, so we can try to look things from their perspective, where empathy plays a big part in that as well. Secondly, I would say communication plays a big key. While listening, we should also be having the skill to communicate our ideas and our passion and our true self to the other person, and where we are coming from and what we have heard and understood, so that there could be a great connection, and then it could follow into the world of networking and then going forward from there.
Great. This is something that I'm continually working on myself, is facilitation skills. And again, I said, like, I work in nonprofits and I work as a professor. We're living in this world where we're continually fighting for attention. Everyone has the world in their pocket. And you know, to be more dynamic people and to be able to show up and be present and network, like, there needs to be that facilitation skills to be able to pull people in. So I know for me, that's something that I'm really trying to work on, especially as the workforces continue to evolve, and, you know, there's AI coming in and there's all these different things, but there's that power in people, which you guys have all mentioned, and I think that's kind of this thread between what we're going at with these soft skills, but that thread between people and being able to connect with people, and doing that in a exciting way that draws people in. So that's something that I'm working on myself.
That's excellent. You know, I listen to you and I think to myself, one thing that you all have in common is that inner caring for community and community at large, like literally on a global scale. And I think, wow, how much volunteerism have you already, you know, engaged in your life, and how has that impacted you? And how's that impacted your journey? I wondered if you could touch on a little bit of the volunteer work you've done and where that's taken you.
I will say every single job I've ever gotten has been from my network or from volunteering. Every one. If I can go down my entire resume, not one of them has been, I applied for a a job online and they called me up. It has been because I volunteered within the organization, someone that's very much related to it, or I just had I had that connection, like I knew someone that worked there, they kind of got me an interview. You know, network only works so much. Yes, they can get your interview. You still need to be able to show up and interview and all that. But yeah, that's my experience with that, or how it really plays into my where I am now, I guess.
Volunteerism plays a vital part in the community. First, it helps you go out there and present yourself and let the world know that you're there. Second, you're helping the community in whichever way possible. So whatever your passion is, whatever you're driven towards, you can aid to the community, you can serve the community. So fills my soul personally. I have volunteered for Rotary International, and there is a local Belleville International, I've done that as well. Few libraries, and recently I've been going, it's not more of a volunteerism, but for my company, Bank of Montreal, I have, whenever we have events on campus, I've always made sure that I'm a part of it, and nowadays they're putting me to a part of it. So that really helps mostly the students and anyone else who approaches us, in a way that when students are approaching us, we can guide them towards financial literacy or towards whatever we have to offer for them. So that way we are helping them, and this way it creates like volunteerism and work between people as well.
Yeah, I think those like volunteer hours you're supposed to get in high school, and you're supposed to like stay, like have 40 of them. I don't know, like I just had the goal of to get the most amount of volunteer hours that my kid could possibly get, I think. And that's where I realized the importance of volunteerism. And it was because it exposed me to other people's life experiences, and that I may not have ever ran into. So whether it be homelessness, I had the opportunity in high school to go to Toronto and make lunches for the homeless community. Something that I would have never seen as a kid who grew up in Sterling, from a farming family, and had that exposure to what somebody in downtown Toronto fighting homelessness would be subject to. And similar experience is work with Gift from the Heart and providing dental health for our community here. And I didn't realize the gap in access to dental care. So I was, I would say, naive essentially to the different life experiences in our community, that you might be living next door to somebody, or that you go to school with, or that you work beside, that has a very different life story to you, and you really don't understand those until you reach out into your community, and my way of doing that was through volunteerism.
I think what we've all touched on is volunteering is a great way of fostering connections, but also of learning. I think ultimately it's a free way of learning also, which is fantastic. But on that same token, I think in my world anyways, a lot of the work I do revolves around donor dollars, but folks' time is actually so much more valuable than anything else you can provide, arguably. So I think volunteering is imperative in our communities because it is essentially providing our number one most valuable commodity back to our community while also getting something out of it. Because as humans, we know that you often will need an output to have an input and vice versa. And that goes with yourselves and with your motivation as well. So I think when it comes to volunteering, it's just such a great opportunity to learn, but also to acquire new skills. Oftentimes, I think the number one roadblock when it comes to youth in the workplace is, you don't have an experience, you don't have 5 to 10 years, you're, entry level, or you don't have the degree that you need, or whatever it might be. And some of these things you can't solve other than going back to school and grinding and putting in the work, but some of these things you can solve by volunteering for a year and getting those soft and hard skills to excel in your careers, and then finding that job. Maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's through your network, but oftentimes that is how folks start their career. It's having a connection already, a foot in the door.
So clearly, volunteering is, a big door opener to opportunities, whether they be personal or professional, and that's fantastic. Let's look at the other side of the pendulum now. let's talk about challenges. What types of challenges or barriers have you encountered personally in terms of seeking internship perhaps or employment in your lives?
I think oftentimes internships even can be highly competitive, getting your foot in the door, just really making your mark and making yourself unique in a lot of ways can be a huge barrier. And that's where you can, utilize your networks and learn from different industries, learn from different pillars of opportunity to really determine how you're going to go about breaking those barriers. But I think ultimately the number one thing to go back to that capacity building is just realizing that you have all the answers likely already in the folks you know or the things you've done. You just have to go back and reflect on those things. I think oftentimes when you're met with that barrier, it's a matter of not immediately getting frustrated, which I know I often am very bad at kind of feeling defeated right away, but actually just turning that into an opportunity and looking at it as, okay, I can't do this right now, but when am I going to be able to accomplish it? And how am I going to set the milestones in place to actually achieve that goal? And maybe that goal is very different. Maybe you find something along the way that you appreciate a lot more in your life. Like I know for Cassie and I, coming from the sciences and then going into the non-for-profit sector, it might not be where we thought we were going to go. I can speak for you, I know it wasn't where I thought my journey was going to lead. So really finding things that feed your soul along the way and fuel your fire as you're trying to break down those barriers, you might find that there's a whole other world and a whole other barrier-free universe somewhere else along the way. But, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree along that same standpoint. One of the biggest things I see, I'm going to talk more about the challenges as an employer than my personal experience. So I would say that my challenges would be connection. So you have to earn the confidence as you're walking in to say that I'm ready for this internship or I'm ready for this volunteer experience or I'm ready for this job. You have to believe it. And you have to see yourself stepping foot into that career. So many times do I get a resume or an experience where I'm reading the resume and I'm going, this isn't for the same job. This isn't for the same, this isn't the, they're not projecting themselves into the position they would like to see themselves in.
So I would say that the challenges as an employee I could talk about would be coming into the country as an immigrant. There was a whole diversity shift. I got a cultural shock right off the bat. And then I had to learn this and inculcate into myself that it's completely different. Networking is an essential part here. So the major challenges I would say is, regardless if the market is critical right now, however the economy is going, we have to set goals for ourselves, and the main challenges come from a standpoint of if we stop working on ourselves. If we keep developing ourselves, increasing our skills, going out there, presenting yourself into the world, working on your soft skills, learning new skills, and then being passionate about something, I firmly believe there is nothing that we can't achieve. Coming from a hospitality and aviation background, initially, I did not think that I could step into the world of finance, but I had over 50 to 75 rejections. I stopped counting before I got into the position of CSR. So there were challenges, but it's just, you have to keep going. You have to just hone into something. Look at that. The previous speaker spoke about honing into and having laser focus. It's a difference of having a 100-watt bulb versus a 100-watt laser focus. You know how deeply it can penetrate. So you just have to keep walking your path and overcome those challenges if you just keep working on yourself.
That was good. I liked that. For challenges in careers, I'm going a little bit off of your question. I apologize for that, but one thing I think that has worked well for me and has overcome some of the challenges that people might face is being very location specific of, I only want to work here. That can be very limiting. For me, and I don't recommend this for everyone because it does make it a little bit challenging, but throughout my entire 20s, I lived in probably, I think it's 8 different cities. And I just went where there were opportunities. I'm from Brockville originally, a very small town. There's 22,000 people. There's not that many jobs there. When I graduated from university, I just looked for jobs anywhere. I didn't limit myself to a certain location. And I think for me personally, that's something that helped me overcome some of those challenges that I could have faced in my career of being just open to trying things and I guess not being scared. And that reflects back, I guess, a little bit on this Everest thing. Something that I like to encourage my students to do is to like fear settings. Like we often hear goal setting within schools and we're all taught about goal setting, but like fear setting, like what's gonna happen if I take this risk? What are the repercussions? I don't like the job? That's okay, that's actually like fine. And you can go through that fear setting exercise and see what's at the end of this.
That is just great, right? Aren't these responses meaningful and they give you something to think about, right? They also motivate me. And I think about motivation too, and I think about entrepreneurism. And we've got 2 entrepreneurs sitting on our panel today. Let's talk about that specifically. So we'll start with Talak. Talak, what motivates your entrepreneurial spirit?
Good question, Mandy. I've recently started, you could say a little over 3 months. I would generally say the business that I'm in, I'm extremely passionate about sustainability and people. So my business allows me to connect with people, truly better people's life, because I could offer them an opportunity at almost no cost. And you have a multi-million-dollar business right in your fingertips. It's upon how you take it forward. So that's my passion, and the products that we have betters people's life. It's all organic, so it aligns with my goals of having a sustainable world. And then if we just try to better at least one person's life, even in a month, I would say we could have a much more fulfilling life down the line. So having business will, of course, yield results, and there is a part of me that's doing this for the return and creating wealth for my family, but to come forward with the main things that I'm doing forward with would be to better people's life through either my products or offering them opportunities that either they would not have received or they might be missing out.
And Taylor.
Why did I become an entrepreneur? Somebody whispered in my ear when I was 17 years of age that said, you can take the jump and you can try it on your own. And I was mentoring another photographer at the time, and I was scared to venture out on my own. And he said, you should work this summer and try to be scrappy, try to start a business. And I actually started by a Ontario government grant called Summer Company, which I see their stuff is out in the hall. I'm a big advocate for youth entering entrepreneurship. If it's just a side hustle, if it's just a small bracelet making business, or if you want to go into entrepreneurship as well, which is creating small business entities amongst a bigger organization, which I can see some of the people in the ROI kind of gravitate to that entrepreneurial venture. But I feel like my entrepreneurial framework, essentially, for the path that I'm leading towards is always the same saying I say to everybody, is community first business. So the grind was a decade-old business when I bought it. That kind of had lost its sparkle. It needed an overhaul. It needed the life brought back into it. And so now today you walk in and it's a modern facility with a hybrid coffee wine experience, but focused on the customer. So I'm doing events like drag brunches and things like that that really power the reason why I'm in business is to power the community. Lafferty's is a very similar example where I have a previous owner that's owned the business for 49 years. And he'd like to enjoy some time with his grandchildren, and fashion's changed. We're moving from a world that used to wear suits every day and is now going into a world of casual wear. So that's what powers me, is to kind of look at the community in the lens of entrepreneurship.
Thank you to to our wonderful sponsors, partners, the organizations who came over today, and especially the young change makers who flew from Northern Ontario, Timmins, Sudbury, and other areas from Ontario. Thank you so much again, and all the sponsors, partners, Centennial High School, everybody for being here, and this couldn't be possible without your support. We tried our best, but definitely if we wouldn't see you here, it wouldn't be worth it. So thank you so much again for being here, and I always say to everybody that be kind and share positive vibes, because at the end our inner soul matters, and if you are satisfied your inner soul, that everything is going to be fine. So try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud. That's what I follow in my life. So be kind and share the positive vibes today and make meaningful connections. So try to connect each other after this summit as well. Thank you so much, and have a good day.
We want to thank the Rural Ontario Institute for allowing us to capture this conference and bring it to you today. We know that when you live in a rural area, sometimes it can seem that the cards are stacked against you and you have to leave that area for a bigger city. But what was so great about this conference was the fact that all these workshops were empowering the youth in skills that they could use to bring back to their rural communities. When you are from a community, you know what is best for it. So empowering these youth with skills and encouragement to stay in their communities and improve it from the inside out was a great thing to see. And if you'd like to learn more about the Rural Ontario Institute, you can visit their website and see how they can assist you in improving your community. Merci for watching, and we'll see you down the river.